Did what it had to do on Saturday night to give itself a chance, but what they needed was Kansas City to beat Denver, and that guy's wearing a hoodie, so that's a problem. And Denver's wearing the uniforms they should wear every week, and they could if they just chose to, but they don't, and look how good they look, and look how well they're playing. There's Marvin Mims Jr. from Bo Nix, and it's 7-0 early. Broncos' next drive, Courtland Sutton. Clean pocket, and Nix has his man out there. Sutton picks up 47 on the day. Interesting, people pay great attention to these bonuses. I don't know if they know what you know what Courtland Sutton makes? No, but you know he got $500,000 for his incentive on the day. So good for him. And good for Denver. It's 14-0. Chiefs had 98 yards of offense and 5 first downs. This is the third touchdown of the day for Denver, and it's complete lunacy as Nix has it bouncing around off defenders, and Devon Vele has got it. Beautiful diving grab. It's 21-0. All smiles in Denver. Steve, we're blown away by that stadium, that fan base. They've been waiting for a while, man. A great venue. Vele again. 32-yard pickup. Then it's Nix, Mims, and Denver is absolutely rolling to the tune of 38-0. Sean Payton and a happy bunch of Broncos.
I want to say one thing that's real important. Don't you ever forget it. Young and hungry is dangerous. And you're one of the youngest teams in the NFL. Young and hungry is dangerous. All right, don't you forget that.
Broncos 38-point shutout, the second largest by a team that clinched a playoff berth since 1990. 42-point shutout by the Seahawks in 2005 was the largest. Denver into the postseason for the first time since they won the Super Bowl with Peyton Manning under center.
Go Chargers, go!
Against?
Raiders!
Let's see if I can do the whole highlight just pushing things on the board.
Just do Boomer.
All right.
Yeah.
Aiden O'Connell. 3-3 game.
Yeah, double move, Jacoby. Yeah. I got more suits than Jacoby and Myers. That's the Beastie Boys. What?
It's 10-9. All right. Keep your points, Scott. O'Connell here is picked off. Deion Henley. That's a sad look. Justin Herbert. DJ Chark. DJ Chark. It's 17-10 after the Chargers get the 2-point conversion. 7-point lead. Play action. Herbert takes off. And he is rolling. Going to get hawked from behind, but hangs onto the football. Gain of 41. And then Will Dissly. Who's wide open, Steve?
Him.
Quite literally, the tight end. Chargers in control, 27-13.
We're not showing Brock Bowers?
I hope we do. Quentin Johnston, who's had a rough year, had some drops, also had some good moments, but here he has a tremendous diving grab right there.
Holy makahiki ho to you.
That's Happy New Year. Johnston had 13 grabs, $186. Hassan Haskins gets it. No Bowers, Steve. That's a disaster.
Set an NFL record.
All right, Steve, you got the tight end news in. I was over here doing Boomer Beastie Boys lyrics. I'm sorry. So the AFC playoff matchups look like this. For the first time since the merger, the Chargers finished with the top scoring defense in the National Football League. Waiting for them, the 19th ranked scoring offense from Houston. It'll be Justin Herbert's second career playoff start. Had that big lead at Jacksonville and it evaporated. The third for C.J. Stroud. Josh Allen, who's the odds-on MVP favorite, will welcome the rookie Bo Nix. Bills completed an undefeated season at home for the third time in team history. Broncos back in the postseason for the first time since they won the Super Bowl. That was Super Bowl 50. Only wild card matchup between division rivals, Pittsburgh and Baltimore. It feels like they played twice in the last month. I think they have. Steelers have lost each of their last 5 playoff games, the longest stretch in franchise history. It'll be the first time the Ravens host the Steelers in the playoffs. Let's start right there. Tim Hasselbeck is back. Pittsburgh's lost 4 in a row. I asked Troy Aikman last night, I said, like, how do you become the team you want to become in a week? And he paused and he said, man, I don't know, Scott. Right. I'm asking you the same thing. Like, for them to win this game against a red-hot Baltimore team, what does it look like?
Yeah, I think it's got to just be one of those ugly games, like an ugly NFC North battle, because look, Baltimore is the better team right now. They're more explosive on offense. They've got more balance on offense. Defensively, they've really, they're probably a little bit banged up at the moment, but they've been better for the most part. And so I think when you look at that and you look at the time that Pittsburgh beat them, it's because there was 3 turnovers, by Baltimore. So, like, that's their path, because they're going one direction, which is not the right direction, and Baltimore has been trending in the other direction, which is they've just been improving and kind of getting a little bit better each week.
Would it be fair to say of all the wild card weekend games that if Pittsburgh were to win that, it would be the most surprising?
Yeah, just
the trends are so awful for them, and
honestly,
they're so.
Lamar's been so good,
right.
And Russ has kind of like started to not be as good as he was earlier in the year.
All right, so the Chargers go to Houston, and Houston, they got to win. But who played today? They have not looked great of late, and they've had a bunch of injuries. Stroud's been under duress throughout the year, pressured a lot. This Charger defense is really good. Herbert gets another chance on the road in the playoffs. What's your sense of this game?
Like, to me, that's what it is. It's Stroud has just been, they haven't protected him. They've done a good job keeping him upright. And when you look at the Chargers, you've got a good defense, and they put pressure on the quarterback, and they'll hit you. And I think that's really what it will end up coming down to in that matchup. I just think when you look at what the expectations were for Houston, how they've played. They obviously rested guys today, but it just hasn't felt like the same momentum that you would think that they would be heading into the postseason with. And I think when you look at the Chargers, I think it's just going to be a physical brand of football that might be a little much for Houston.
Look, Houston clearly benefits from playing in a division that was poor across the board, but they got a home playoff game once again Saturday, 3:30 Eastern, 2:30 local. But they got 60 minutes of football to see if they can earn the right to play beyond that. Denver earned that right today with their 38-0 shutout. They go to take on Buffalo, where, as I just mentioned, the Bills have not lost at home. It's already a hell of a year for a really young Denver team. Yeah. But for them to go in there and battle, what must they do? Well,
I would just say this. I'm glad that you played that sound to Sean Payton, because that's an experienced coach who understands, yeah, I do have a young team. We're going to go into an environment they haven't been a part of before. And so just even planting the seeds of belief in his young football team, he's starting to do that. And then I think that defense is really, really good. They're a top 5 scoring defense. So, yeah, they're going to face one of the best players in all of football in Josh Allen. But Vance Joseph, who's the defensive coordinator in Denver, has done a remarkable job with that side of the ball. And then you and I have said this a few times, like in watching Bo Nix. Like, there have been games where it was like, it was ugly. And then other times, we're just like on a heater. And
he was today.
And he was today. Yeah. Now, obviously, the matchup wasn't, a playoff matchup on the road. But look, if he gets hot and the defense is playing well, that's the hope that a young team can have going to Buffalo.
And I don't know the numbers of players. I mean, you start with Nix. He's different than the guy from a year ago. We were there for a Monday night game a year ago, and I saw Sean Payton before the game, and he smiled, and he said, we might just sneak in here and steal one. And they did. They actually won that game. So there are a number of folks that are going to be going into that stadium who've been part of a win. The stakes, the stage are clearly different. And as we push back, with Detroit and Kansas City enjoying the week off, is there an overarching theme you have about is there a team that right now you look at and say, this team is a favorite above anyone else? Or do you feel?
No, I would just say this, with Detroit, and even the guys getting banged up again tonight, they need this. They
haven't had a bye since week 5. Yeah, that's 3 months ago, man. Yeah,
and so I think the marathon of the season for them to have that time off, I think is critical. And I would say this, we just talk about the 1 seeds, because, the job Andy Reid always does coming off of a bye week. He rested a bunch of guys today. He's going to have a chance of a bye week. I do think look, it's hard to, you asked Aikman, hey, how do you turn the switch on for the playoffs? Can you do it? If there's a team that can offensively, I feel like it would be Kansas City, that all of a sudden, who they look like in the postseason on offense might be a little bit different than who they were in the regular season on offense.
Look, they don't play a bunch of starters. They get beat 38-0, but they go home for the Arrowhead Invitational, and they are 2 wins away from going to New Orleans for a chance to play for their 3rd consecutive championship. It'll take a hell of an effort to beat that team and that quarterback. No one's been able to do it the last 2 years. All right. Appreciate you being here, Tim Hasselbeck, all season long, and maybe through the middle of the week.